Bali has been named so many idioms: the morning of the world, the last paradise, the island of God, and the masterpiece of the God. Bali is a gorgeous island which lies in the eastern part of the world. It's also part of the Indonesian archipelago that stretches from east to west between the continents of Asia and Australia and enveloped by the Pacific and Indian Oceans. Bali spreads itself as far as the eyes can see and is dotted with fertile fields and terrestrialized paddies. There are never-ending ceremonies dedicated to God, the Creator, infusing the island's elegant culture and talent for the arts. Bali is rich with beauty and is perhaps one of the most unique cultures to exist in modern times. The Balinese believe that their words, thoughts and attitudes should reflect the harmonious relationship between mankind, the environment and God Almighty. This concept is the Balinese philosophy known as Trihita Karana. On a deeper level, the Balinese believe that life in general is a holy sacrifice, which in Hindu terms is referred to as yajna. This inspires different types of rituals and is guidance for the Balinese passage through life, from birth through until death. Each Balinese Hindu has a series of ritual ceremonies performed called Manusa Yajna to mark particular occasion. Most significantly, this includes birth, 3 months after birth, tooth filling, the wedding ceremony, and lastly in death with the cremation or ngaben to conclude the cycle of life. Women carrying various offerings of food, fruit and flowers is a common sight in daily Balinese life. Such offerings are handmade with careful attention and brought to the temple. There are literally thousands of temples to be found on the island of Bali. The biggest and holiest temple is Pura Besaki, located on the slope of Mount Agung, the highest mountain in Bali. This temple consists of 22 holy complexes and is considered the mother temple for all Hindu followers. Community members from all around Bali pray at Pura Besaki in conclusion for any major ceremony that may have taken place. Perhaps the most renowned temple on the island of Bali is Pura Tanah Lot, which was built on the coral reef islet at the ocean's edge. At low tide, visitors can easily walk across this temple. The most popular time to visit Tanah Lot is at sunset, when the last rays of sunlight splay magnificently over the horizon, silhouetting the temple for just a few brief moments. This is the temple of Ulun Danu, which is dedicated out of respect for the water goddess of Lake Beratan, who is known as Dewi Danu. The waters of Lake Beratan completely surround this temple, and worshippers journey out in small boats to place offerings and pray. Another temple that is equally as important for the Balinese is Pura Uluwatu. This small, exquisite 11th century temple in southwest Bali is one of the 6 major territorial temples on Bali. It is particularly positioned on a rock settled by a colony of monkeys high above the thunderous surf. Yajna is the offering and dedication of the life of the Balinese and is expressed in various art forms, including music, dance and painting. Art is evident in almost every Balinese village and is a growing source of interest for visitors to appreciate and purchase. Batu Bulan village, 10 kilometers northeast of the city, is famous for its ornate statues, carved from soft paras volcanic tuff. The statues are available everywhere along with other hand-carved products. Batu Bulan is also the home of the famous Barong dance and Kris dances. Multifaceted Ubud, 25 km north of Denpasar, is one of the most pleasant and interesting places in Bali. It has become the focus of Bali culture, since the end of the 19th century, when the ruler Cokorda Sukawati invited artists from all over the island to settle there. During the 1920s and 30s, a great number of foreign artists came to the village, including the skilled German Walter Spies and the Dutch painter Rudolf Bonnet. Ubud, still very much favored by artists and art lovers, has a remarkable number of galleries and museums, and offers plenty of dance performances. Located just few kilometers southeast of Ubud, Goa Gajah, the Elephant Cave, offers many interesting archaeological sites. This cave gets its name because the giant head of floppy ears above the entrance resembled that of an elephant. Gunung Kawi is a famous complex of rock-cut monuments accessible via a steep footpath. Dating from the late 11th century, they consist of 4 temple passages, housed in alcove 7 meter high, dedicated to Siva. Another well-known mountain on Bali is Gunung Batur. The mountainous region around Kintamani is rugged with a high and wild beauty. It centers around the spectacular volcanic caldera of Mount Batur, with its deep crater lake and bubbling hot springs. In the center of the caldera rises the black cone of Gunung Batur. Beside it is Danau Batur, the largest lake in Bali. The volcano is still active. The last serious eruptions took place between 1965 and 1974, leaving a vast field of black lava rock. Besides the mountains, Bali also boasts some delightful beaches. Kuta is probably the most recognized beach, popularized as a tourist object both for domestic and overseas visitors. Without a doubt, it is Island's best beach and has excellent surf, suitable for both beginners and more experienced surfers. It is provision of hotels, restaurants, bars, discos, shops and other tourist facilities. Kuta represents the ultimate holiday destination for many, while for some it is a little too much. During the 1960s and 70s, Kuta was the exclusive domain of hippies. This handful of cosmic surfers and space-age crusaders grew into a tidal wave of tourists from all parts of the world. There are a handful of other pleasant beaches on the island, at the locations of Legian, Seminyak, Lovina, Candi Dasa and Sanur. In the first half of the 20th century, the sleepy village of Sanur became popular as the home of famous Baliphiles, such as the artists Walter Spies and Rudolf Bonnet. After World War II, they were joined by colleagues such as Belgium's Lemaitre, whose work can be seen in the museum, his former studio home. Sanur is one of the few remaining Brahman Kuasa villages in Bali. It has the oldest stone inscriptions, some of the most beautiful procession on the island, the only all-female Chris dance, and just stone throw from any beach hotel, a string of very ancient temples. Nusa Dua is an area located in Bali's southern tip and has become the center for star-rated international chain resorts and properties. The hotels, situated on the coast, give the impressions of being set in a huge, well-tended park crisscrossed with good roads, with a fine beach, water sport facilities, golf courses, tennis courts, riding school, amphitheater, and a shopping center within convenient reach. Guests should not get bored too quickly. With regards to the culture of Bali, we should acknowledge the dance and music that is exclusive to the island. The components of dance and music, especially the traditional orchestra, are perhaps one of the most important factors of understanding the Balinese, their religion and culture. Dance and music have deep roots within Balinese society and ceremonial life. This dedication to the island's arts is showcased for the general public annually at the month-long Bali Art Festival, which is usually held in June and July. This event is a source of local pride and is held at the Art Center in the heart of Denpasar city. Such events ensure that traditional arts are preserved for future generations to learn and appreciate as their heritage. Balinese are introduced to dance and music from early childhood. Each body movement, cares of hands and fingers, and flutter of the eyes is an expression of the love of life and devotion to God Almighty. The well-known dance Legong Keraton is performed only by females and usually presented by young children who are symbolic of purity. On a final note, whatever name is bestowed on Bali, and despite the tragic circumstances that have been inflicted, the Balinese will continue to dedicate themselves to the greatness of civilization that is devoted almost entirely to God Almighty. May we add one further name to the list of description for our home, Bali, Island of Peace. We thank to God for blessing Bali with so many resources as an expression of His love.